Hi, I'm Emil Toth. My grandchildren call me that. It means grandpa in Hungarian. My name is Emil Toth. If you want, you can call me Emil Toth. In this video, I will share what happens to me as I experience Bhakti. Bhakti is a Sanskrit word meaning devotion to the divine. My belief is that Bhakti, devotion, and love are all the same. What differs is the intensity of the love I experience and how I react to it. Today I will talk about 4 variations of Bhakti that I have experienced. The first type of Bhakti is the most common. It happens when I feel love for someone or when I feel a person's love for me. The second type of Bhakti occurs when I become devotional to God, Beloved, Jesus, Blessed Mother, Ramakrishna, or any avatar or saint. The third type of Bhakti happens when I fall in love while I am in Bhakti. The fourth type occurs when I feel love that is so immense and so intense that it immediately overwhelms me and causes a spontaneous Bhakti. The intensity of Bhakti can feel like a gentle shower, or at times like a thunderstorm, and sometimes it can erupt like a geyser. I have had Bhakti with both inanimate and animate life forms, which clearly indicates to me that love is present in everything. Before I get into sharing my personal Bhakti experiences, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. I retired in February of 2000. I worked on mainframe computers as a programmer analyst. I'm now an author of dramatic and inspirational novels based on spirituality. The books are really self-help novels. They offer emotional and spiritual guidance through events, quests, issues, and personal interaction. I have 2 series of novels. The love series of books is about heroic women who empower other women to acquire self-worth, equality, and justice. My cross series is about a man who wants to rid himself of his rage. Begrudgingly, he follows his visions and builds a cross. He startles the world by staying on the cross for 40 days without speaking, which adds to his intrigue. 6 people become intimately involved with him while he is on the cross. One of them shocks the world. The books can be purchased on Amazon by simply entering my name, Emil Toth, followed by the word love or cross. I followed the Bhakti path for many years without knowing what it meant. Bhakti and devotion are one of the many ways to experience the divine. My Bhakti experiences have different levels of intensity, and different things happen to me in those levels of intensity. When I am in Bhakti, I usually feel love, and it causes me to weep or sob. If you are weeping or sobbing because of an experience, and you are not sad, you are probably having a Bhakti experience. The truth is, you can experience God or Beloved in many ways. Each one can have a telling impact upon you and the direction of your life. I will not cover the first 2 types of Bhakti because I'm sure you have experienced them yourselves. The third type of bhakti is one where I feel as if I am falling in love while I am in the throes of bhakti. Over the years, I have had several bhakti experiences that made me feel as if I was falling in love. The first time it happened was back in December of 1995. I was 60 years old at the time. I eventually came to realize I was responding to beloved's love within the person, and it prompted me to fall in love with the person. I first experienced falling in love while in bhakti when my wife Barbara and I attended a madrigal dinner at St. Mary's College here in South Bend. Our table was at the edge of the entertainment floor. The entertainers were women from St. Mary's College and men from the University of Notre Dame. The carolers, jugglers, and dancers wore Renaissance clothing, and they performed and mingled with us as we ate. While we were nearly done eating, the performers gathered on the floor. They began serenading us with songs from the Renaissance period. A buxom young caroler caught my eye. Standing next to her was a blonde student. My eyes kept going back and forth between them. Something made me concentrate on the blonde student. Surprisingly, she began to sing just to me. Her eyes never left mine as she sang. While she sang, all sorts of thoughts ran through my head. I wondered if she was flirting with me, or if she saw me as handsome. As she sang to me, the unexpected happened. I was drawn to the young woman in a way that I've never experienced before. I connected with her and sensed her innocence. As I kept looking at her, I became emotional and I grew enchanted with her. Unexplainably, I felt I loved her. During the next song, my feelings for her changed. I felt and saw her as a representative of all women. Soon, another sensation flooded over me. I felt she embodied the Blessed Mother Mary. I suddenly sensed Mary's attitudes and qualities and traits within the student. She exuded gentility, grace, kindness, and love. As I looked at her, my heart overflowed with love. Unexpectedly, she changed once again. This time, I felt she was the divine mother of the universe. I felt humbled and had a strong urge to weep. Somehow, I held my tears in check. Though I had been on a spiritual path for 27 years, I was not confident enough in who I was to be able to weep in public. That would change in 1998. Suddenly and unbelievably, there I was, a 60-year-old man, falling in love with a college student. I could not believe it. I saw my wife for 3 weeks before I felt I was in love with her. I never said anything to my wife about what was happening to me. How could I? I had fallen in love with a student. At the conclusion of the performance, the carolers formed a greeting line. I got in the line and thanked each performer. As I stood in front of the student that I fell in love with, I asked her why she kept looking at me. She told me she likes singing to one person. I was crushed, just simply crushed, to discover she did not fall in love with me. That night, as I lay in bed, I kept thinking of the student and how quickly I fell in love with her. As I waited to fall asleep, I questioned how I could sense her as the Blessed Mother and as Divine Mother. I fell asleep thinking about running away with her. I could have gotten into a lot of trouble if I had followed up on my feelings. It never entered my mind that I was old enough to be her grandfather. That is how focused I was on my love for her. The student and the power of the experience took many days to fade from my memory. My second Bhakti falling in love experience happened a year later in 1996. I was conducting healing sessions on Saturday mornings at the Ejikari bookstore in the neighboring city of South Bend. No one came for a healing that morning, and I knew the young woman working at the bookstore. I offered to do a healing on her, and she accepted. While asking Beloved to heal her, I had a Bhakti. I fell in love with her as I did with a student from St. Mary's College. I did not act upon my love this time. I drove home very slowly, feeling blessed because I had another spiritual experience of falling in love. I have to be honest, I did fantasize about running off with her for the next several days, even though she was young enough to be my daughter. I did not have the emotions running through me with Barbara as I did with these two young women. But the Bhakti falling in love was short-lived compared to the love I had for my wife. Now I would like to talk about the fourth type of Bhakti, which is having a spontaneous Bhakti. It happened to me in June of 1998, and it took place at Mother's Trust Ashram in Ganges, Michigan. In June of 1998, while I was meditating, I had a vision of a beautiful middle-aged woman. During the vision, I had a weeping spiritual experience. The vision and the experience took me by surprise because I never had the two together. A few weeks later, my friend Joyce and I decided to attend the dedication of a woman's ashram called Mother's Trust, located in Ganges, Michigan. We arrived in time to see the dedication procession. I was stunned to see the woman in my vision. She was leading the procession, and she was a nun, and her name was Bandhanama. She was there to dedicate the new ashram. After the dedication, the ashram provided a lunch. After lunch, I saw Bandhanama move away from everyone. She sat on a chair some 100 feet away from everybody. Since I had seen her in my vision, I wanted to tell her about the vision, and I also had a few questions I wanted to ask her. I went to her and reverently knelt in front of her. I looked into her eyes, and I spontaneously and uncontrollably began to sob. As I sobbed, I told her, "Mother, I love you," over and over again. Gone were my questions, along with my ability to think. The power of the love I felt catapulted me into a state of loving awe. The grandeur of the moment completely captured me. After some minutes of sobbing and declaring my love, I regained normal consciousness. I felt her lay her hands on my head and bless me. I got up, stumbled away, wiped away the tears drenching my face. Joyce asked me what happened. I told her I was swept away by the love I felt, and I repeatedly told Bandhanama, "Mother, I loved you," while I sobbed. The moment was powerful, enthralling, magical, and mystical. In those moments of heightened awareness, the emotions I felt were intense and surpassed any I have ever experienced in my life. In my deep experiences of bhakti, I feel like I am in the presence of Beloved, and I feel Beloved's love. After I spoke to Bandhanama, Joyce and other people went to her to talk and make requests. As far as I could tell, neither Joyce nor anyone else reacted to Bandhanama as I did. Later in the afternoon, Bandhanama retired to the shrine room and received people, as she did outside. Here was my second chance to ask all the questions that were buzzing around in my head and tell her I had seen her in my vision. Bandhanama was seated on the floor in the sanctuary. I knelt in front of her, looked into her eyes, and once again I spontaneously burst into sobs. And I said, "Mother, I love you," over and over again. The moment I looked into her eyes, I was swept away by the power of this tremendous love within her. The intensity of the love I felt put me in an altered state of consciousness, and it kept me from doing anything except to sob and profess my love. As the intensity of my bhakti lessened, Bandhanama blessed me once again. I got up and slowly made my way back to Joyce. As I wiped away my tears, I realized I did not ask any of my questions or tell her of my vision. On the drive back to South Bend, Joyce asked me how Bandhanama compared to the woman who facilitated our meditation group. I never hesitated. I said there was no comparison. Based upon the spontaneity and the strength of the love I felt within Bandhanama and the love I felt for her, I thought she was a saint. As you have experiences like mine, they might not make you weep, but they can give you the feeling of God's presence. I have experienced bhakti while overcome with love, and while talking to Beloved, and while talking to other people, and talking about my bhakti experiences, and feeling Beloved in a person, and feeling love for a person. And I've also have it while I felt love within a person, and while making love, and while caressing my wife, and while caressing a flower and a plant, and while listening to music, and while looking at a painting or a portrait, and in the midst of nature, and while looking at something disgusting. Yes, you heard me right. I experienced Beloved in something disgusting. As you can see, experiencing Beloved and bhakti can happen in a variety of marvelous ways, and the depth of my emotional experience can vary with each bhakti. During my experiences, I can weep quietly, or I can sob loudly and uncontrollably. My experience can last for a few minutes or for a few hours. I hope this video has helped you understand what can take place during moments of bhakti. In the next video, I will talk about other variations of Bhakti that I have experienced. It should be available soon. If you are interested, I will soon have videos on YouTube and TikTok where I am sharing inspirational passages from my books. They will probably be under the category of inspiration. Thank you for taking the time to watch my experiences in Bhakti. This is Nudge Puppet Toth saying goodbye and hoping you become aware of your own Bhakti. Hey, not bad. Not bad at all. Amen. Amen.